And one more statement. No, I do not believe that the original Morten Harket did it to me. I believe the Church of Scientology has done it to me. And it goes back to my childhood, probably. It goes back to the time when my aunt and my uncle joined the Church of Scientology. So I believe that the moment they did, our family, the rest of the family, started having problems. And certainly this is the Church of Scientology that's responsible. I also believe that my grandma, all the tragedy she went through, is, well, it's not that simple, because there's the Church of Scientology, there's Alan Lipovich, Anna and Tadeusz, well, Anna's son, and he spent hours, nights at his computer. So I am certain he is an Assangeist. And his visit to Australia a few years ago, or I don't remember exactly the year, was certainly connected with him being the Assangeist. And finally, there's the social care in Canada. So the three together make a pretty bad combination, which is probably the reason why my grandma started looking the way she looked at one. Oh, I forgot the fourth one. There are Ukrainians. There are Ukrainians too. So there are many factors actually which can be behind. And there's also Milena, Anna's friend, whose parents had something to do with journalists. And this is the communist regime. So 5. Okay, probably there are many more. There's Diana Slipovich Theater, drama and dance school, her high school specializing in that. I ask myself the question, where is Diana? Is she the sha-la-la-la-la singer who has never returned home? Or is she the one at home? Well, if I were to choose, I would say that she's the singer. But whichever way it is, certainly there's the entertainment industry entering our lives. And there's also me singing Pszczółka Maja at an early age in childhood, and for some reason it seems Zbigniew Bodecki has had an impact too. Anna Jantar, Ania Kostuch, whose father worked for the TV, for the communist regime TV, and Natalia Kukulska, who was her friend. So it is about my singing, which made me go on stage and sing as a child, but suddenly stopped when I started attending the primary school, where I met Ania Kostuch. So all these things come together. I believe that these are the parasites, basically, and the combination of all the gains they could have. When I entered the political scene, not directly, but by my comments, when people became aware of me, they also became aware of my gifts. And I'm quite powerful, so they wanted to have the kind of air. The point is, I'm powerful as a person. I don't have any backup, because I have never gone for something that would not represent the values I represent. And I don't see any people, any group who do. So this is not the standard this is not the ethical level, these are not the morals, or has gone bankrupt. I don't know about, I'm not sure about Tibet, but I have been disillusioned. I believe that the Tibetans have taken part in it too. And I cannot say with full certainty that these are the ones who betrayed Tibet actually. On, so this is a peculiar situation. I'm certain there are people like me in the world, but we have not met. So we have, and I believe that it has been being prevented all the time. However, the main factor probably is connected to the British royal family, and I believe that it is at the level of taking over the time track, which might be in the case of Kate Middleton. So I believe that the Church of Scientology, I'm also aware of the Rothschild family, but I believe the Church of Scientology wanted to control the British royal family, which they do, which they must have done to a great extent. And it started already when I went to Great Britain after my boyfriend, Rafał Radłowski, who took the students' event. In the end, I even earlier, even the holiday, the New Year's Eve, celebrating the New Year in England, when we were in the second year of our studies, when we were in the third year of our studies. So it was already after I had been to Canada to spend my summer holiday there, and then I participated in the event in the Toronto org, and I had an interview, and actually my forehead was cut. I mean, with the, I don't know what way, but she was just seeing through. So from the Cunt perspective, I know that she must have broken through whatever was there. She represented flag, and I believe that they decided to use me simply because of the potential I have and because of the potential I am. But to use me not, I mean, there was a chance of using me otherwise, of me advancing high. But the problem is I am independent and I am ethical. So when I went to St. Hill in 2002, and we spent together so much time, especially when they got me on the EPF, the 6 months, they were perfectly aware that I would not participate in whatsoever criminality or irregularities. And they also knew that they would not control me. So they might control me to some degree in some ways. But literally there was only the only person who had the command power over me. And he was the head of one of the top officers for the management organization. So otherwise it was only by agreement, and even in his case I believe that it also might have been only by agreement. That is, okay, so I'm in the ranks, and it means we have the hierarchy, so you are higher than me. So when he told me, well, Agnieszka, you go to the course room and finish the course today, I went to the course room and finished the course that day, even though earlier I had been suffering from a headache. The point is that I don't remember the course at all. So it's better when I do things my way than I remember. Life goes smoothly. The gap between what people have been trying to make out of me and my potential and the position I should have and the life I should live is so great that it can not be bridged in any way by whatsoever creations of fictions, because this is the obvious. And taking it to pedophilia was a suicidal move, actually, because you know you need something to hang on, and you have the purity, you have the virgin, the purity, the idealism, the love, that has nothing to do with all the sexual bullshit people get into. And generally, this is a complete failure on the part of my enemies. However, the devastation is comprehensive, and the consequence will be comprehensive. So I just want to emphasize that but I'm not saying I cannot be wrong. I can be wrong, but I still don't believe that this is the original Morten Harket who decided to destroy me. And I want to this certainty of mine to last. And of course, I can see AHA. Of course, I can see the CEO through AHA. But there are also special forces. And James Bond, I mean, originally, well, things should have been going great. So I'm not sure what happened in the special forces. I believe they have become communist. So I believe that they are in a series of agreements with Russia nowadays, with the KGB, and that's the reason. I also don't understand Russia in my life, actually, because even if women fall in love with politicians, they hardly ever view it the way I viewed the presence of Mr. Medvedev in my life. And it needs to be emphasized that it was him appearing in my life and not me appearing in his. Apart from me marking his profile in Facebook as the one to be followed or liked, so, but that was one among other politicians, and Putin was first anyway, because Putin was the president first and then Medvedev. What I saw was the Kremlin, and it must have something to do with my time track overall, which I believe has been removed and given to someone else. But whatever it is my identity and my life. And I also don't know. What I know for sure is that I will not forgive what's been done to my mom and what's been done to my grandmom, as the family, what's been done to my family, and the same concerns my dad. These are the things that break the covenant, something that you simply never do that. But I believe people have been doing it for quite a long time, and these fall in the category of the crimes against humanity. For some reason I have become a victim of those crimes, perhaps because I got interested in them and started speaking against them. Perhaps this is how it works. I don't know, I always thought that it was different, that when you actually say no to it, and then you say no to it, that these are the people who say yes to it or pretend that they don't see it, who are possible victims. But when you obviously reject it, then it should never really become your reality, because you say no to it. But then there's also the rule of the ignoble destroying the noble, which might have been empowering people on the whole. Whatsoever has happened, and I keep on fighting. And I do not forgive, because this is the unforgivable. Agnieszka Magdalena Rojek.